and just letting people join in. I can see that I am on Facebook. I hope I'm on YouTube as well. I have 2 YouTube channels, so I'm hoping I'm on the right one. Just want to fix my microphone while we're waiting for people to come in here. I have been away for a few days. Taking a few days. I have a lot of other projects that I work with besides in here. So good morning, Ashley. So yes, I have a lot of work that I do. Good morning. I actually understood that, Janet. I actually understood that. Good morning, Shiva, and good morning, Lisa. And good morning, Tracy. Yes, I'm on YouTube. Perfect. Okay. So first things first is let's just let some people get in here. I have been away for a few days, taking some time to replenish my energy, to get myself back into form, but also been very busy in some deep meditation and downloading some very important information of my future work and of the finishing of More Than Existing level 4. So for those of you who don't know what I actually do, if you're new, is that I'm a spiritual healer, which encompasses everything from being, like for me, for some people, it includes, their Reiki training. And so my journey started with Reiki, and my journey started when I arrived. I am ancestral, passed down medicine woman, shamanic abilities to be able to do a lot of shaman work. Just I'm Aboriginal, and yes, no, someone's going to say yes, she looks white. I'm a blended in diversity and love is what I call it. And so I'm passed down generational healer. I don't know how, I don't know why me, but I am her. And so I've been really, truly, the past 3 years, very blessed with being taken on a very big shamanic journey of awakening to everything of how I just know how to do things. And the past few days, I've been given some really big information about the gifts, about the world, and about how we are to be as human, to be the new human in the world. And so I've had to take some time to really listen to that. But I also work as a professional life coach, empowerment, transformation, and I am a Reiki master teacher. I put my focus now into what I call spiritual and emotional consulting. So I help people be able to check in with your emotions. That's what More Than Existing is to really truly understand the truth of you. It's not, we've spent a lifetime distracting from us or trying to match this potential in this world and trying to be something in this world, trying to be a celebrity, trying to be like in our own lives. I don't mean always in the world, but trying to be important in this world, trying to be something. And that's everything that has taken us farthest away from us. So my newest book called The Way, Resting in the Way, is that I'm no longer fighting, struggling, trying to get somewhere, is that I've actually stopped trying to get anywhere. I've come home, and I've come home to me. And that's a big part of the work and where I have been. These cards that are my cards, the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards, and this is still one of the older styles. We have a brand new style, which will be the style that's going to print, and that is the Everyday Goddess. And she's a paradox energy. She's a paradox of everything that I am, blended in style and work. And I work in Oracle, mediumship. I'm trained in probably everything out there, but none of it really, it all come down to the end of where I am right now and the start of me is that the only things that matter, that's the most important, is that I matter and that I'm here, that I'm right here, that I've become the person that I am today. And that's my hope, my dream, my journey is that I love to help other people come home to them. And that's the desire. And that's my desire with these cards is that you can come home to you. You can find your way back to you. And my work with mediumship is not so that we can hold the past here, is so that we can set ourselves free of the past so that we can live in the now and start to be able to believe in the possibility of a beautiful future, that we can create that beautiful future within ourselves. And no matter what we have been through, we have opportunity, we have a possibility. The misery that we choose becomes that of our choice to choose, to continue to punish ourselves, to struggle in this world, and to make enemies with everybody, including ourselves. And so our lives, our journey is truly about being able to see see what's within you. And I don't mean your potential of who you can be. It's like that's always, what's my purpose? And I'm like, I don't care what your purpose is. And I really don't. That's not how I work with people. It's not about that whole know your purpose. It's about living on purpose. You're here for this beautiful experience, and we have to create that beautiful experience. Good morning, everybody who's joining in. Good morning. Good morning. So, good morning, Monica. I think I've seen everyone before that. And Cynthia, good morning. And Laura and Colleen, good morning. And Lisa, good morning. Welcome, everybody. I am trying to get back into my dailies. Like I said, I took a couple days away. I stepped away. But this is my Oracle cards, and this is the deck that we are using. So they're not designed just like tarot. They're designed to be the image of, they're designed from the stories of my life, the journey that I have been on in this lifetime. Based on that is that what it has done, it has awakened me to my own truth in a new way. So these are what we call the attitude cards, and your attitude is showing. So when we get so far away from ourselves, our attitude shows. It shows in our bodies, it shows everywhere. And we stop listening to ourselves, we stop listening to our truth, we start listening to other things. But when I say you stop listening to yourself, I mean that you start listening to your head. You start listening to the chatter that's in your head, the story you make up, the enemies that you make, and you start getting caught there. And when you get caught there, you start to get an attitude. And when you start to get the attitude, you start to think, well, they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't know anything, and I don't know who she thinks she is. And so when you're saying all of that about all of those things about another person, who you're always really talking about often is your own self. And when you can start to recognize that who you need to listen to is you. And I used to say, I hate to hear my own voice. I can't stand to hear my own voice. And now I'm like, oh, it was the whole fact that I didn't want to have to listen to everything that I was telling somebody else. And so when we're really good at giving other people advice, but we're not taking our own advice, time to take a good look in. And because that's attitude, that's the whole, we want everyone else to change to make our world comfortable. We want everyone else to become what we want them to become so that we can live comfortable in our worlds, because God forbid if I be the one that has to change, right? And so that's what these cards are based around, is a lot of that energy. And so I'm like, I just heard open me up, and I'm right here looking at you. And so this is the every day. I open it up, and right when I opened, there she was. This is the card that defines it all for me. It is the everyday miracle. She is. And so I just created a whole new podcast that is only my voice. You don't actually see my face. You only get to hear me. So I created a whole new YouTube channel, which is based on who I am today. And that's what I've been doing the past few days, along with finishing up my More Than Existing program, is that I've been creating this new podcast, and it's launching today. I am going to do a live today on there, which you will not see often, but there will be a lot of recordings on. Well, maybe you will. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's called She Is Podcast. She is the podcast, and it's She Is Podcast. It is on YouTube. I am going to put it on Patreon as well. So it's going to go YouTube, Patreon, and it will not be shared to here. So you will not see the links come to my Facebook page. You will not see it in the YouTube channel that you're watching these lives on. You actually have to go subscribe to the other YouTube channel. And it is a whole different way. It is the More Than Existing way. It is the way of my books. It's the way of everything that I write, and the way of everything that I live, and how I had to really start to face my truth, to put the work into me. Surgery alone was not going to make me a better person. A new hair color wasn't going to do the job. Those things weren't going to do the work that needed to be done. And the only way to truly get to us is to do the work, right? You like my voice? I'm so glad you like my voice. I'm learning to like my voice. So the YouTube channel is only my voice. I've had to come to learn to love my voice. And a part of that comes with being criticized and made fun of for 20 something years with my accent, and having people make fun of my accent oh, you're a Wanufi, and so you find yourself, even though you don't realize it, you find yourself defending your accent. And people think it's humorous to make fun of your accent, to tease you. But if they were in Australia, so in Canada, it's like you make fun of Newfoundlanders, you make fun of, but when people come from, say, Australia, Ireland, you don't, like, they don't get made fun of. But Newfoundlanders, it seems to be that bunt of that joke. And so there was actually a course in Newfoundland, actually, and it didn't last very long. I don't even know how much publicity it actually got. That actually was helping Newfoundlanders to be able to sound differently so that they would be relatable and they would be able to be more professional. And so that Newfoundlanders would lose their accent. So just like taking away your culture, so they were trying to take away that accent. And so for me, for years, and I don't know why I'm bringing this up today, but I feel like there's a need to bring that up, is that no, it's not, Janet. I don't have. I have my Patreon account. I just haven't gone in to set it up yet. There's a lot of things that we're trying to. There's a lot of things where on my face in voice is right now. So hopefully by this weekend I'll be able to get the Patreon set up. Today it'll only be. Today we're launching YouTube first. And so that voice and your voice and who you are and knowing your voice, sometimes the fact of even how you speak, or the fact that you don't have a big vocabulary or whatever it is, or you are afraid of your own voice. And so if your voice has been suppressed for years, and this is kind of where this is going, if your voice has been suppressed for years, or you felt like you couldn't speak, or you felt like you weren't allowed to talk, those type of things, then you are afraid of your own voice. And I talk a lot. And the big thing that I learned, and so I have a friend named Michelle Snelling, and she owns an oil company in the US, she's in Utah, and she does her own blends of oils. And she's Michelle Snelling, Michelle with one L. And when I was in Austin at a Oracle Palooza a couple years ago, I was with an amazing group of women and men. And so I was there, and I always have a lot to say, and I wasn't speaking. And someone's like, why are you not speaking? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's like what I have to say is like crazy. It's not worthy to be heard. Like and I'm like, and so I kept going back. I kept going back into this oil on Michelle's shelf. She was there selling the oils. And I'm like, it's voice oil. Why would I need voice? I'm always talking. And she said, but you're not saying what you need to say. And there was such a truth to that. It was not saying what I need to say. And that's what I discovered, even no matter what, where I am today, is that I discovered there was things that I wasn't saying because I wasn't using all of my voice. It was the power in my voice. So I found myself choking off. I found myself having throat issues, all of those things, because when you want to be heard. So when you have messages that can change the world, you have to know that the world is not ready to hear them. And when the world is not ready to hear them, only a select number of people are. So you can be very frustrated that no one's listening, or you can just put it out there anyway, and whoever hears it, hears it. You stop trying to be somebody. You stop trying to be heard. You stop trying to be a celebrity. But when you find your voice, when you find your truth, when you start to come home to you, and so you don't realize your truth until you start to do your healing. You don't realize your truth until you're willing to go into the depth of darkness and discover all of your flaws. Instead of looking at what everyone else has done to you, you got to look at what you have done to yourself. And until you're willing to go there, or what you're doing to yourself, or what you're representing and presenting to the world. And when you're ready to go there and you're ready to call your own self out, it's amazing what you discover about yourself. It is such a truth. Okay, hold on. Yes, Newfies are awesome. Yes, we are. Everybody is awesome. The world is full of awesome people. I get to travel the world. I get to work through the world. And I get to travel the world here, but I've traveled a lot of the world. And it's meeting so many people and seeing so much and not being afraid. I've lived in more cities and towns, and I've done a lot of moving around. I have not been a stagnant energy. I've had a really gypsy kind of soul. And it's so important. Depends on what you want to ask there, Layla. Because I'm not really I'm pulling my cards, but let me see. I'm trying to read Cynthia's comment here. I feel like that lots when I post Facebook, people telling me that I write too much. Yes, so there's I got a great program for you, Cynthia. It's called More Than Existing. I'm stuck between choosing what course to start. See, Ashley, I got a great program for you. I got the Diamond Effect coming up, which is a full ascension program. That is a 9-week program. I have More Than Existing. You're in here every frigging day and you're stuck on programs. Now think about this. I teach a whole certification program in More Than Existing that takes you to the level of becoming a light worker. There's a lot of things. I'm not. I'll have to wait on that one, Layla. Let me see if it comes. Let me see if it comes through when I'm pulling the cards. It may be something that relates to you. I do a whole different live. I do a different live when I actually do this for people, but we'll see. I feel like you have to have faith. I think you second guess yourself. I really do. I think you have to stop second guessing yourself. I'm walking angry at myself, but taking it out on other people. Yes. So, yeah. So Layla, I think you're second guessing yourself. I think you know the answer, and I don't think you want to listen. I think you know you got this. Just know you got this. See yourself sitting right in the middle of that position. That's what you have to do. Yeah. See yourself sitting right in the middle of that position. Right. And so, yeah, you've been sitting in that, right, talking to someone from your past. Yes. So you dealt with it, right? There's things that you dealt with, Catherine. So, yeah, Ashley. And so that Diamond Effects program that I got coming out, I don't know what we call it, but it's the Diamond Effect. And that is an ascension program. That is my creation of all of this healing energy work that I've been doing that has been channeling through me, blended into what I already have. And I created a whole program around this. And so that one is coming up. More Than Existing, because what More Than Existing makes you do, and I didn't create, I am the creator. This is channeled through me. So More Than Existing has 4 levels. It is not easy, and you don't get to come in and become certified as a coach until you do the healing work on you, because that's the problem. We all go to school. We all get put into these bodies as adults, not prepared emotionally and spiritually matured enough to do that. So when you go do any courses, you go take any training, the first thing you do is you go out and try to offer it out into the world. And you're offering out into the world everything that you learned, but you have not embodied it. You have not become. And so there's a whole journey of becoming. I've been in this business. I've been in this work for 20 years. It was not my business. It was not my job. It was not what I was going to do with my life. And this is where I am. And every bit of this journey has been about me having to put the work in. When I started to see how people reacted and responded, and how healers that work in the industries take sides and they get to that one-sided view, I realized how many unhealed healers, how many people were reflecting childhood history onto the world, or how many people were reacting and responding out of a fear response. And fear is now leading the world. And so there's a lot of contamination into a lot of the work that we do, based on the fact that Western loves to give out these courses, and just know that you can take the course and you're certified, but you're certified in the human knowledge. But wisdom takes time. Wisdom means you come home to you. Wisdom you do not learn. Wisdom you listen. Wisdom you gain. Wisdom is in allowing yourself to face your own truth, to get to that place. But see, that's the whole thing. I didn't want to be a coach either, but I went to coaching school, because it's not see, you're stuck on a word, Ashley. That's what More Than Existing does. So the first 6 months of More Than Existing is called self-actualization. It is you doing the healing work on you to get to see you, to get to see what I see of you, to get to break the habits, change the core values, break old patterns, get to know what it means to have identity, persona, the mask that we wear. And so all of those things, keep us from us. Level 2 is called Beyond the Reflection. So it's from that new self, from the soul out, you're learning to be able to have love, compassion, and kindness for you. Level 3 is the healing part of the journey, how we absorb life. So how's your soul feeling today is a big question that I learned in my training, in my work, that's not my question, but somebody else asked me that question. And so what we do in level 3 is that I'm reading my board. What of the past can work for you instead of against you? How's the work, and so that takes you into a deep-seated healing. Level 4 is the certification. It is called a light worker coach. So it is a healer and coaching combined. What coaching is that coaching allows you to learn to listen and to ask questions, to become curious, to start to be able to heal the innate ability of your intuition, your natural instincts, and to be able to reset the fight flight brain that we use and that we've been really taught to think impulsively, to get to the do this now, like that laser coaching right now, you need to do this right now. And it's like, why did you didn't heal the person that you now try to make these decisions right now. So the person that you're trying to get to jump into answers has not done the basement work. So the foundation is not strong enough to sustain and hold up the empire that you're trying to build. You have to do the foundation work, and that's the issue. If you want to become the best of you and to live the happiest, you've got to go back into the basement. You've got to go back to basics. You've got to go back to the original source, and you are the original source of you. But beyond you, it is the soul self. It's about learning the new language. It's about learning to communicate to you. This is all channeled through me. I don't know where half of this came from when it first started. All I know is that what I witnessed, because I am a seer, because I'm a mystic, and because I am a channel. So when I come in here to do these lives, what looks so simple, I come in, I open my mouth. This is not so simple. I'm not listening to my head. I am communicating with the world outside of us. And so that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of work. So that same fear and anger that you live in, that takes quadruple the amount of work, because you got to go back to the past, and you got to keep going back to the past in your head to find that, to be able to create a story of why that behavior is serving you today. And when you start to create, that takes a lot of work to be right here, right now, to just let yourself be right here and live in your human self and to be able to do the work from here. Oh, phew, so much easier. So much easier. And that's the journey. The value of everything that you need is right here. Right here. Right now. The work to be able to get to live right here, right now, comes in going back to the foundation. So I always get that question of, oh, well, I have this husband, I have these partners, they're scared of you, they don't like your work, you're this psychic, you're this medium, you talk to the dead. I'm like, that's somebody's perception of me. I'm so glad people have these perceptions of me, but you don't know me. And that my work, and more than existing, has nothing to do with ghosts and spirits, only the ghost that you're scared of, that you're afraid of. Because everyone that's afraid of ghosts, the only person you're actually afraid of is you. And the only world you're afraid of is the world that you're living in. And so you're afraid to let the world see you. But my work is much more than that. I am so much more than the psychic medium. There's so much more that I do. I have a whole mind of my own that works beyond me being able to communicate to the other side. So all of the school, everything that I create, this is years and years and years of work. And so more than existing has nothing to do with mediumship. Nothing. It has to do with becoming the best version of you. It is about living on purpose. It is about changing those belief systems and patterns. It's about doing the healing work on you. It's about coming to know you and to understand how and why we are so programmed. So it's about unconditioning. The biggest illness we have in the world is conditioning. And we are programmed and we are conditioned to believe things. And it's amazing how quickly we buy into it, how quickly we fall into it. I don't want people to become dependent upon me. I work people into being able to see the power that is within them, to become your own healer, your own guru, to be your own inspiration, to inspire you. I'm not needy, and I don't need people to need me. I need me, and I want other people to need them. I happily want people to walk with me. I happily want people to be able to be there to listen to the wisdom that I get. I'm happy for that. But I want people to know that you have so much inside of you that is so powerful and so beautiful, and that it has the ability to help you to see the beauty, to create your world, instead of always trying to become something. So let's see where we go. You're welcome, Ashley. And we have lots of payment programs, lots of payment options. We work with people. So when you look at, the first thing people do is look at prices and they go, oh, I can't afford that. That's your first limiting belief. That's your first limiting belief. How can I make this work for me? Because this is a huge program. These are not little programs, and it's all taught in person. Like, I teach it in person. Every single class, I show up, I am present, I am there 90 minutes once a week, plus you get the recordings, plus you get all the booklets, plus you get the mentors. The mentors are incredible, and they are all have their own wisdom and knowledge that they also bring in, and they do incredible work. So you get all these professionals that are working together for the highest good, that we're all trying to do something to help people to be able to know that you can't change the world, and you can't expect the world to change for you. You have to change. So our first card out today is the Universal Light of Love. And I didn't set up my actual cards today. So let me see if I can bring them up. I have a lot of things open in here today. So let me see. No, that's the original. Let me see what we got. These might work. Okay, so these will work. So this is our first card, 43, and she is the most amazing Lumerian. Oh, thanks, Janet. My friend came over yesterday and put my lightener on for me, and I colored my hair, and yeah, got my eyelashes done again. Yeah, I'm feeling better. And so, for those who don't know, I was a hairdresser for 30 years and an esthetician. I worked in the beauty industry for 30 years, which starts out my journey of this. I'm afraid my microphone's going to die. Got to keep watching. If I go silent, tell me I'm gone silent, because I'll have to switch over microphones. So the Universal Light of Love is our card, and I'm going to bring her up. And so she is a crone energy. She is the Lumerian. And the Lumerian is that beautiful love beings. It is the being of the beautiful golden, the beautiful pink light, the white light. And it's kind of like, so the way, and I never know this when I start to create some of this, but the Lumerians were supposed to be these beings that had lived up on Earth way, way back. And they lived in this beautiful tropical of, in the Bermuda Triangle area type of thing is what they say. And I think that's where it is. And so in that area, it's like, so it was an island in the body of water. And so the way it puts it is that, yes, Carlene, thank you. Carlene is going into level 2, and she made that investment into her. And she's like, her life has changed so much. It's so incredible. I love everyone who goes like that. More Than Existing program is like the highlight of my life. Raina is also there. Okay, hold on, guys. I gotta catch the spammer. Wait now. Don't anybody open that. Why will it not let me? Caught him. Don't anybody open it. So I caught the spammer again, once again. And so this beautiful, like this island, what they say is this island carried these people of love. And they knew the love language. They knew the soul language. They spoke the soul language. Well, the Lumerian master started to come to me while I was in the bathtub. And I told this story a few weeks ago. And I'm like, I start telling my crazy stories that I would never tell before. And all those things that I communicate with and what I have. Because this world is so big, right? There's so many, this, we believe this is how arrogant and this is how much we really have such a big ego as a human. Often we truly believe that we're it. This is it. We're it. We're all there is. There's nothing else out there. This universe is so vast. And this, what you live on, this thing you call Earth, is a ball that floats around in the middle of nowhere. So you live, when you say you're scared of darkness, but you live in a black hole, right? You live in this big black hole on this little thing that's like this, and it's a little speck of sand. And so we are so, we place such importance upon us because we believe that we all matter that much, but there's such more to the universe than us. And so the beings and how this came to me is this ascendant masters, or these masters of the Lumerians. They speak a language of love, and they taught me more about soul and about being connected to soul and how there's so much of that mother energy. And even the earth has its soul. Even Mother Earth has its soul self. There's such a connection. So even like the animals are the representation of the soul of Mother Earth. Did you know that? That's shaman work. And so there's this essence that the soul self, and so the energy behind who you are and how you represent yourself. We don't even know that it is a false self because we are so created and so formed until you find yourself crippling, falling to your knees so many times. My most defining moments are my lowest moments. The moments when I didn't know where I could get my next breath. And this is how she came about. In order for me to return to wholeness was that I had to lose all of me. I had to strip down everything, become vulnerable, and I had to let myself fall. And I had to let myself fall in the arms of the guides, of the angels, of the ascendant masters, into the arms of the Christ-like energy. I had to let go. And by letting go was that I had to just lose even so much as my name. Everything of who I was had to go. And in that, you become just that light. And when you can see yourself through the eyes of the God consciousness, through the eyes of these beings, and you're showing, like, when you're showing how much matter you are, how much of that field of energy you are, that you have the ability to manipulate and mold your energy and yourself, you realize how much you are manipulating and molding the world around you to suit your shadow, to suit the insecurities of you, to make the world fit to everything that is actually what we call comfortable, that has made our lives probably more uncomfortable than ever before. And there's such a truth to that. So every time we say things like, oh, I'm, nobody gets me, nobody understands me, they're doing this to me and they're doing that to me, that is us molding and manipulating the energy. And so to fall back in these times, and I have a portal in my bathroom, I call it. And so the spirit can come through these portals, but you open up and you attach to such spirit and such energy and such entity and entities that when you keep holding on to the spirits of the past and you make relationships with people that you meet to go, oh my God, I've met them before and I need to be with them right now, and you make sometimes these connections and bonds that you start to create your identity from. You believe this to be true, to be you, but it is not you. So everything that channels through me is not me. The channel that works with me is me. But everything that I do, and that's why I said I'm so much more than the medium. I'm so much more than that psychic medium, because that's work. I'm a vessel to that work. I'm a vessel to that journey, but that's not me. And so to know me is to be able to sit in my work when I am embodied in light and love. And I'm doing everything that I do with such love when I fully can step into in this being that gets to be here. And that's what you're doing when you're allowing yourself, when you trust enough that when your mouth opens, the right things come out. When you trust your instincts and your intuition to a point that you never go to the second thought, that you don't manipulate words, that you don't create a story from a word that you read or a text that you read, and you don't create a story. The moment that you create an assumption, assuming, is that you are so connected into the fear story, into the mind stories, into the clutter. And you can say I'm so organized. I'm so organized. But if you're so organized, how come you can let these thoughts interfere in your life? You're so organized because often we have an OCD and that fear that we're trying to be in control. And when we're trying to control our world, we're not falling into ourselves. We're not letting ourselves fall in. Now, it's one thing to be organized and know efficiency and proficiency and to do things in an organized way. But first, organize your thoughts. Organize this energy. Is this mine? Is this really who I am? And so when you start to have a spiral out of control and you don't know where it came from, chances are it didn't come from you. You just walked through something, or you're living in somebody else's misery. And if you're living in somebody else's misery, including your partner, who might be the most happiest to you partner, but their past is still controlling them because it's holding them back from living their best lives, and they're not living to who they are supposed to be, but you're trying to live as you, then chances are you are living in their energy. So you have a connection to an energy that is not yours. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to embody the light. You're trying to fix them. So you're trying to become the person that is there to be of service to them and fix those people, instead of trying to be the embodiment of light that allows other people to heal through walking through your light. And so when you can organize your thoughts and get clear and you gain clarity, is that then you can embody light within your home. And when you embody light within your home starts to speak to you. Your office starts to speak to you. The things start to speak to you. Like my plants talk to me. Right before I started, I heard, Corrie, we are thirsty. We need water. Can you water us, please? And I literally left this desk, went downstairs and stepped away and went silent and quiet. And I dusted off the leaves of the flowers and I picked off the dead flowers and I watered the flowers. The soul self, the illuminating light that embodies us, was calling out for me inside of my home, for me to pause, to reflect, to spend time with me before I spent time with the world today, so that I could be protected, I could be embodied in the light, I could become all of who I am. I could step in and I would have no self, no ego, no nothing. With the plants, they feed me as much as I feed them, because they are all energy. We are all energy. And I know that may sound very complicated, but the world is so simple. We've complicated it. So that fight inside of your house today that you're having with yourself, that whole trying to organize to a perfection, that whole I gotta do this today and this gotta be done. He's an asshole and he's not doing this and no one put the garbage out and the kids don't listen to me. That is way more complicated than watering the flowers and listening. Because that's our connection to the God consciousness. That takes you into taking a little bit of a quantum leap away from reality that you're living in, the reality that you've created, because this is the dreamland story that you've created. And it takes you from there and allows you to live over here. And so there's such beauty in becoming that person. There's such beauty in illuminating that life. And so the smoke and mirrors is the other card. That makes sense, right? I'm like, that might not make sense to somebody, but that's how I live my life. That's how I live my life. I am in alignment to the universe, not in alignment to the voices that say to me, you got to do this got to be done. You need to be this today. You need to be that. I spent a lifetime being that. And I can't be that no more. And there's such a trust when you let yourself live from love and light. When you let yourself, and so when I've surrendered over everything of who I am, and this is why the She Is podcast that I have now. I am now me, and because I've been a lifetime trying to be something for everything else and everyone else in this world, and not that anyone did this to me, what I conditioned to be is that I'm now just this person. And it's so simple. It's like starting over. So I have a whole new podcast that has only like, because it hasn't really been announced to the world yet, it only has like 7 followers. And I've never been so happy in my life. I'm further in whole than I've ever been financially. I'm in a pandemic. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know what's next. All I know is all these beautiful things are created around me, and I've never been so happy. Filling up the tank, connecting and coming home, learning to speak from the soul. And I have a copyright of what I call my soul language work that works. And that whole energy of just knowing who and what you are. And so the card that comes out is the smoke and mirrors. When you look in the mirror today, and you see the you that's looking back at you, and that's all you see, well, you're living in the smoke and mirror view. You've created a reality that just you're everything, you're all, and the whole world is not accommodating you. And you can find your wrinkles, you can find your fat, you can find your flaws, you can find the flaws in everyone else. When everyone else got a problem, the world got a problem. Everybody's, if everyone would just do what I want them to do. And the cat is looking at you there. So there's a cat in the picture. You see the cat down there. She's looking at you. And that's how my cat looks at me, like, fucking really? Do you really think you do? Really? And so she kind of says to me, like, I'm going to disturb everybody at your work today, and I'm going to stop you from doing whatever. And I'm going to go to the door, and I'm going to meow 6,000 times. And I don't go outside very often. I don't go out if it's cold, but you're going to open the door for me, because you're going to walk away from everything else that you're doing to be there for me. You're going to do what I need you to do. And that spirit, that is the source. That is the creator. That's the God consciousness that is speaking to me. I live, breathe, and speak for the essence of to be in my soul contract with spirit. And because I'm in soul contract with source, with creator, because that's who is my boss, my leader, my everything, is that energy that is there that says, stop, I live within you. And there's something so deep inside. So the 100 times a day that I have to walk away and let that cat think she's going to go out and she don't really go out, I could get very angry at her and upset with her. But instead, I've learned to say, thank you, Leia. Thank you for, and my cat's name is Leia, Princess Leia. I'm like, thank you, Leia. Thank you for awakening me to the awareness that I can step away. That by turning this door handle, it's a constant reminder that doors will open when they are ready to open. Doors will close because they're ready to close. They need to close. But doors will open. In divine timing, I will walk through that door. She only goes out when the sun is shining. She only goes out when it's warm enough, when the climate is proper for her, and she trusts that innate ability that she has, that she's not really an outdoor cat. She's an indoor cat. So everything outside has to be prepared and ready for her. So it's like the sun is coming for her, and when it comes, then she'll go to the sun. Well, that's how we live our lives. If you live as if everything on the, like, I got to remember this one. If everything on the other side of that door is there for you when the time is right. So when it's embodied in light, love, and healing, and you've done the work and you are light, love, and healed, all of the things that reflect that to you now are the things that will show up to you. If you have a muddy, murky view, you will open muddy, murky doors, and you will walk into muddy, murky worlds. If you keep telling yourself that I need to be the most important person in the world, then when you open that door, you will be the most important person in the world, but you'll be the only person. You'll find yourself alone and lonely more times than you'll ever find yourself together. And so because what you think is that when you believe that, you believe that it's all about you, you're the one person, you're human connected, and there's nothing else there. And so your world becomes desolate, lonely, and everybody that tries to come in, they can't fit into there because you've already told the story and you've created the world and the environment that nobody is capable, nobody's good enough, nobody can do this. And those are stories that we create, and that's energy. That's energy. We just had a gray cat walk across the street in front of the car. Ha! See, Raina? Yeah, a little sign for you today. And so here in these moments of when you feel like, oh, why is that bothering me today? Why am I distracted? Why am I not getting this done today? Because maybe it's not meant to be done today. And maybe you need to just be okay with that. Maybe it's not getting done today. Maybe you just need to go walk. So you want to know where I've spent most of my time in the past few days? I've been creating, but I've also been walking. Just walking. Just walking. I just go outside and it's cold. Some days it's nice, but I open the door and I walk. And I just keep walking and walking and walking. And I'm walking towards me. Right? And so it's not about the cat, it's about where the cat takes you, where the cat gets you to look, how the cat is distracting you, right? It's the energy behind what the cat does. Yes. So, Catherine, wow. So if we are protecting ourselves and we ultimately end up alone, thus my extra weight. Ta-da! Yes, Catherine. Yes, exactly. Because the weight is the protection. That's the story. That's we eat those emotions, right? We chew back, and so the food becomes where you bring your attention, and you put your attention into that. The food is not speaking to you, right? The food speaks to you when it is alive food. Dead food do not speak to you. Live food speaks to you. Live food calls you and you go, yuck, I don't like that, right? And so live food calls us by color, by smell, right? And that's the whole essence of the oil, was that it wasn't that I needed to drink this oil, I needed to breathe. To be able to have a proper voice, it's breath. Right? And so this is, yes. And so you do that to yourself and you create that persona and that identity to be alone, because then that'll be your story. And so that's the smoke and mirrors. That's the Myra. That's everything that we do. And so that uniqueness is that they have uniqueness, but they don't. They have a voice that listens to their innate intuition, which means they know they are of all, and they have such a trust. They just trust that, and they know true fear, and they know what to be afraid of, and they defend what they know they're here to protect. But they also know, they also feed and fuel off the energy that's on you. So when you walk in, you're like, I don't know why that cat's attacking me. The cat's attacking you because the cat knows there is an energy, an entity, something upon you that is not really true to her person, to his person. And they know their soul person. They know that soul person. So when you're not that soul person, they're trying to get you distracted, they're trying to bite it away. They're trying to help you to release what you're holding on to. Yeah. Gray. And so gray is the color of the soul self. So gray is that color of the veils when you hit those final veils and you cross over into spirit world. And so people say, oh, it must be so beautiful and colorful. I said, well, no, it's gray. It's gray. Us humans have to have the imagination. We have to have the color. We have to have all of those things because we need to be stimulated. We need to be stimulated by life. So the last card to validate this for you is Temptation. And I love this card. Love, love, love this card. Let me bring this card up for you. So she's number 11, which was, that's so funny. This was the class I was teaching last night, was the master class. And so 11, where is she? Here she is. Bring her down and bring her up. So this is temptation. And temptation is not always that, you're tempted to do something that's bad, or that you're tempted to walk away from yourself, or you're tempted to quit on yourself, or you're tempted to listen to your second thought. You know, it's so tempting. We want to listen to our second thought. We want to listen to that other version. We're tempted to put our armor back on. We're tempted to put our clothes back on because we get cold, we get chilly. We start to second guess ourselves. And so the 11 is the master number of 1 is unlimited. 1 is infinite. It goes on forever. One is a number of creation. Create, create, create. So 0 is wholeness. It is come full circle. It's that completion, but opportunity to begin again. 1 is that unlimited that continues to add to each and every number, which is creation. It is also connection. It is possibility. And so when we start to live a limited life, we are tempted to second guess. We're tempted to let our thoughts be controlled. We're tempted to, right? And so if you look, 1 is like looking directly at us with her eyes closed. She's holding her space. She's like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I know I can do this. Her hands are tied behind her back. They're not really tied. She knows she has them. The other one is like, okay, I got my clothes off. I can do this. And she's covering up the sacred parts. I'm allowed to keep what's sacred to me. I don't have to look directly into this. I can look away and still start to be. I can look up. I don't have to look at everybody else. I can just look at me. I can start to feel me. And so every one of them, the 2 are really truly looking inward. The 3rd is saying, kiss my ass, world. And not in a mean way. She's just saying, I don't need to get validation from this world. And at every time that I'm tempted to get validation from this world, I am losing myself. I am going to look up to get my validation. I'm going to go to my higher self. I'm going to go to the 8th chakra. I'm going to go to the infinity and beyond. And I'm going to go to the angelic, to the guides, to my guardians, to my source. And I'm going to get my validation there. I am very aware of my connection to everybody else and how important it is to have relationships with everybody. And so that card is 1 thread. That whole card has 1 line that connects it from beginning to end. Everything, she doesn't lift her pen to create this card. It is drawn with 1 thread. And we are all tied into 1 thread with multiple extensions. And every single one of us are all the same thread. We are all the same source. We are all the same light. So as much as we want to say, oh, I'm so special, I'm so different, and no one gets me, I'm so different, that is bullshit. Because we are all so intertwined and interconnected, because we are all the one. So that fight to be a number 1, that fight to be valuable, to be important. Well, you're all a number 2, you're all a number 3, you're all a number 4, you're all number 5. We're all a number 1, but we're all number 0. We're all the way around. We are all and we are everything, but we are nothing. And when you can understand that and you can get it, you truly start to understand unity. You start to stop being tempted to try to push over somebody, to destroy someone, to topple somebody, or to keep trying to be this all-encompassing importance in this world. Because no matter how important you think you are, there's people who don't know you. So if you look at some of the stars and like, well, everybody knows who they are. I'm like, yeah, no, there's people in the world that have never seen a TV in their life. They know nobody, only the people that are in their community. And guess what? They're surviving without knowing those people. Imagine that. They're surviving without having connection to the rest of the world. Imagine that. They didn't need CNN News to find out that they need to be afraid of the world. They understand the fears that are in the world, and they understand the power of community and how powerful it is to love thy neighbor and to be together and to work together and to not to have a strange world tell you who you should be and what you should be afraid of. And so that little world doesn't know the big celebrities, and it doesn't matter, and it don't care. And they exist. Imagine that. They exist in that nude nakedness. They exist in a world where they don't have to be involved in everything. They know what they need to survive. They know what's important, and they know the value of their people, and they know the value of humanity. And when you know the value of humanity and the value of Mother Earth, and to be able to have dignity and respect and love for each other, then we can allow ourselves to even have a different view and be able to come together. Because no matter how different you think you are, no matter how much you try to erase somebody else or something else from this life, what you don't realize is that you are all of one. And when you start to erase everything else, or you start to judge everything else, you are judging you, and what you want to happen to somebody else in the world will at some point also happen to you. So be careful of what you wish upon another. Be careful of where you put that focus, and to come back together, unity. We will become one when we see ourselves all connected to that same thread. Catching it, catching it, catching it. Sorry, I got to get back in there. Hold on. For some reason, it is not letting me. Okay, got it. So somehow we are all one. And to be able to connect into that and to know that takes us back into the light of love, that embodiment of love. When we can open the portals, the doors of light and love, when we can start to become humanity, that starts to say, I'm just saying, kiss my ass to the world that's trying to define me, and it's like, but I know my people, and I know it by when the spammer came in, and when somebody else tried to create an identity of me on Facebook and tried to do that, how many people came to my rescue? How many people showed up to help me, that stepped up, that reported it, that cleared it out? I would not have asked for that help 2 years ago. But I know the world is full of good people. I know the world has beautiful people. I know the people in my world, we don't all have the same view and thought. And I still love them, and they still love me, and it doesn't matter, because we understand and know that we are of one thread, that we are of one. And when you allow yourself to become of one, the power of mastering life is not that you're going to be better or more than, it is that you will find unity, connection, and you will understand the power of building a beautiful relationship. And that starts with you. And that starts with you. And so I really hope to see some of you come into my programs. I have a whole bunch of programs. I have another Goddess Within course. And we don't talk about like goddesses of Kuan Yin. We don't do that. It is the everyday goddess. I do a little bit, but not, it's the everyday goddess. It is about the soul nuggets of you. I'm teaching you the soul connection. I'm teaching and guiding you to be able to go through life and pick up the pieces of you that you have dropped, the balls that you've dropped on yourself, that you have forgotten, and to bring it home. So there's a 4-week Sunday morning class coming up in April. It starts actually April the 11th, and that one starts April the 11th. Once I know these are gone to publishing, and when I know they're coming out, then we'll do a class on those. But I also have the Diamond Ascension program coming up, and that one is starting, I think is like the end of April. I think that's the date on there, somewhere around there. And that one is like a 9 or 12 week. I got to go look myself. I've got too much gone to go. And then More Than Existing, I'm not sure the start date of that one again. But yeah, there is so much that we have happening, that we have going on around us, that I have going into that school and coming out. I love to teach. I love to guide. And I don't do as much in-person sessions. If you're looking on my schedule, on my session, on my appointments, it is very, very limited. If you're waiting for me to get back to you, it's easier to book online than just try to get me to book you, because I have to try to find days and times. And so I have a whole list of people to get back to. So booking your own appointment rather than contacting me is so much easier. But you got to go to the end of the month, because that's the days that I'm actually working right now with clients. So thank you for being with me. Yes. And so, yeah, I know a couple week break seems like forever. Hey, Raina. And thank you for having the patience for the spammers and for letting me know when they're there, because we can't stop that, because Facebook won't stop it. Facebook won't do much about it. They really did get on the person though. Enough people reported that they did take down that person. And that's what we have to keep doing. We have to keep report. So thank you all for being with me. This afternoon, I will be doing a live in She Is podcast. I'm going to be in there doing a live podcast this afternoon. So if you want to join me there, that's 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will put the link on my Facebook page. If you're in YouTube, go to She Is podcast, and it'll come up. And I just opened it up today, so it is fully open and available. I just Actually, I got to hit the little button on it when I'm done here. As soon as I'm done here, another new podcast is going in. There is 4 podcasts in there already, plus the introduction. So there's an introduction and 4 podcasts. They are all numbered. They kind of stack backwards, but they're all numbered in there. And it goes introduction 1 to 4, but all are in there. She is podcast. So I will be back in there at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you want to join me in there, this is a whole new journey. The lies will be kind of that whole sense of self. You'll see me sitting over there and not sitting right here, because I'm fully stepping full body into there, full me, and showing up as the woman and not just the person behind the work. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.